Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us from. I want to welcome you to our second session, Destination to San Diego, a city worth studying. My name is Michael Trask. I'm Associate Director for Admissions for Non-Resident Recruitment here at UC San Diego. And on behalf of our other colleagues at San Diego State, Point Loma Nazarene University, and University of San Diego, I want to welcome you back. This session, Gateway to the World, will focus on the international perspective that is San Diego. You know by now that we are a gateway city. Literally, we have one of the busiest border crossings in the world, here in San Isidro, between Mexico and the United States. And to help us give you a foundation in that, we have four wonderful speakers, faculty, staff, and students who are going to share a little bit more about why San Diego is a city worth studying, as international gateway. And to give us that backdrop on history, I want to share the screen now with Dr. Ben Cater from Point Loma Nazarene University.
Hey all, good to see you. It's a pleasure meeting with you this morning. I'd like to begin, as mentioned, by providing a little bit of a historical context to help us understand why San Diego is such a wonderful intellectual and academic destination. So historically speaking, San Diego is a melting pot of people and ideas. This is a long-standing history. All the way back to about 10,000 years ago, we had the Cuyamaca civilization, which was multi-tribal. It was cosmopolitan in a sense. Different people from different tribes came together to produce a very sophisticated cultural life. It was socially stratified with a political class and a priestly class, an artisanal class. Some people farmed, other people could devote themselves to merchant labor, to creating decorative art, which still exists today. So again, we have this sort of early human beginnings in San Diego being very, very vibrant, culturally rich, which has then continued in the 18th century through the Spanish mission system. The Spanish colonists partnered with local Kumeyaay bands to create this mission system, which helped produce the first public school system. Schools, yes, for religious conversion, but also for literacy. Literacy being sort of the key of a modern education at that time. By the early 20th century, with the arrival of the United States, we have the emergence of the US military industrial complex. And of course, the Navy arrives in the early 20th century to defend US interests in the Pacific Rim and beyond. The Navy needed an educated officer class. Military families wanted a good education for their kids. And at this particular point, this is why we have San Diego State and then later UCSD, USD, and Point Loma Nazarene University all emerge. It's really to sort of provide a very robust education for military families. Some of these military young adults would stick around and get jobs in local industry. And of course, local industry was very, very thrilled because they wanted an educated, productive, and innovative workforce. Which leads us to today. By 2020, San Diego has a long-standing tradition of being this international crossroads of people and ideas. So that's just a very brief historical context, which then leads us into the second main point I'd like to share, which is that San Diego today, building off this legacy, has a very hospitable intellectual climate. It has a very lively academic culture. People from all over the world are coming to our schools. San Diego, as a college town, is not a bubble. I've lived and studied all over the world, and I've been to many wonderful college towns, but the thing is that they're very, very closed. San Diego is very, very open. It's a gateway. It's very porous. Our schools here emphasize community engagement. Our schools spread good ideas, and these ideas in turn are spread and embraced, not simply in schools, but in governments, businesses, churches, etc. And so what I would like to point out is that today's San Diego has a very smart international population, which of course helps explain the area's intellectual academic climate. The other component to this, however, is historically speaking, the prevailing weather of San Diego has been a key factor in stimulating San Diego's intellectual climate. Everybody knows that San Diego is America's finest city. It's sunny, arid, teeming with life. Historically speaking, the wonderful living conditions here are in part what attracted the Cuimaca, the Cumier, the Spanish. In the 19th century, it's what attracted American health seekers who were seeking a fuller, more integrated life. The Pacific Ocean, with all of its possibilities for a full life, attracted the Navy and then international commerce. The big picture point that I'm trying to emphasize here is that caring for the mind goes hand in hand with caring for the body and a rich interior life. Neuroscience today demonstrates something that people in the past already knew, which is that regular outdoor exercise, which you can do in beautiful San Diego, improves your ability to remember, it improves your cognition, as well as your ability to create. And so in closing, historically speaking, San Diego has been and continues to be a dynamic international place of good ideas, a full life that has connected people here to people from all over the world. And so that's why I think San Diego is just a wonderful, wonderful historical and contemporary destination for higher ed. I would like to introduce our next guest, and that is Jorge Arriabe.
Thank you, Dr. Cater, and thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I want to start by apologizing because I live downtown San Diego, which is a little bit noisy. So if there's like an ambulance or a fire truck, I'll just pause. And I want to introduce a little bit of myself. My name is Jorge, and I'm a Mexican mechanical engineer. I studied in the National University of Mexico, and I had the fortune to study part of my degree in England. Currently, I'm a visiting scholar working for the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Department at UC San Diego, and specifically, I work for the CaliBaja Center for Resilient Materials and Systems, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And my role within the center is to coordinate and develop educational programs for high school students and college students. So having the fortune and the privilege to study outside my home country, I came to realize the importance of multiculturality and diversity in education. And the CaliBaja Center for Resilient Materials and Systems, it's one of the many binational and international projects that we have here in San Diego. The CaliBaja Center has partnered with universities all around the region from both sides of the border to ensure free transit between students and researchers. So this means that a San Diego student can go down to the port of Ensenada, which is in Mexico, to study the richness of the marine biology and marine diversity of the Mar de Cortés, for example. Or maybe a student from Tijuana, the city in Mexico just across the border, can come here to San Diego to use our world-class facilities to expand their research or make collaboration with our faculty. We're aiming for scientific discoveries and technological developments while promoting friendship between the two countries. And our crown jewel in the center is this program, which is the Enlace Summer Research Experience. And I think you're gonna find it very interesting because it's aimed for high school students and college students. So it's a unique program in which we invite students from all around the country, from every high school and every university, and from students from Mexico and actually all around the world. We have had students from all over the world. And we pair students from both sides of the country, and together they have to develop a research in any of the STEM areas, which are biology, physics, the engineerings, math. So together they acquire college experience or an experience of living here in San Diego. And they develop an article, they write an article, they write an exposition, they do a presentation. But our program is unique because it promotes skills that the 21st century scientists need. For example, skills like being globally engaged, being bilingual, multicultural, culturally competent, and being able to communicate across borders. These skills are very important, and let me tell you that the Enlace and the CaliBaja Center are just a reflection of what's going on here in the region. The fact that we're close to Mexico, it allows students that come here to studying here in San Diego to acquire the skills just by experiencing the city and experiencing the different cultures. I just want to say that San Diego, it's a unique place. And here in San Diego, we're working hard to achieve science, a true science without borders. Remember that knowledge has no nationality and knowledge knows no borders. So I just want to finish this small talk by giving you my contact. If Michael can change the slide. Here are the contact if you're more interested in what we're doing here. And I just wanted to remind you that San Diego is ideal because of this multiculturality and diversity that we have in the region. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for being interested in our youth and in the future of education. And I want to introduce now our next guest, which is Sarah, which is going to talk more about how San Diego is ideal.
Thank you, Jorge. There we go. Thank you, Jorge, for that warm welcoming, and thank you everyone for being here. I'm very grateful to the panel that invited me here today. So to get started, my name is Sara Gonzalez Quintero, and I am an alumni from SDSU. I received a BA in Sociology and Spanish not that long ago. I'm also the Associate Director for the Transborder Student Ally Program. And a little bit of myself, because it's very much related to the work that I do. I consider myself to be a transborder citizen or a transborder individual. And what is transborder? Transborder is someone who has ties culturally, socially, economically, politically to two countries at the same time. I was born and raised here in the border town, so I feel that I'm connected to both San Diego and Tijuana equally. I feel like I'm as Mexican as I am an American. And so that has guided a lot of the work that I have done with the TSAP program. And so the mission of TSAP is to create a visible network of culturally competent allies in higher education. Institutions and high schools and communities in the San Diego-Tijuana border region, hopefully to extend that program as well, by educating faculty, staff, teachers, students, community leaders about the transborder student population. And so a little bit about San Diego and how much I love it. I love how diverse and multicultural San Diego is. By default, it brings a lot of people around a lot of communities, and the border obviously has a lot to do with that. You have a lot of refugees communities, migrant communities that come here that obviously bring different perspectives. And so I feel that this is kind of an attribute to be able to gather different perspectives. Unlike Jorge, who comes from STEM, I come from a social sciences perspective. So for me, this is great to be able to gather other points of views. And so the proximity to the border allows for cultural exchange with Mexico. And so it really brings people to have a more international awareness of what's going on in other parts of the world. And something that I really value about San Diego is how the schools, especially universities, have made efforts to add a binational component into their curriculum. And so that can be, that has been done through classes that count as international requirements, and also by creating programs that address binational issues such as conservation of water, how does the border impact land, and whatnot. And also something that is worthwhile mentioning is the art scene here in San Diego. We have the Chicano Park where you can walk around and see beautiful murals that reflect kind of the Latino experience here in the U.S. So it's very rich, and it's also the home of several film festivals, and also the home of the Comic-Con. Unfortunately, this year, because of COVID, it couldn't happen, but it happened virtually. But every year we have that here, and so it attracts a lot of international attention. And not to forget that we also have the Balboa Park Museums. And I feel that someone who is into arts would really benefit that. And also the proximity that it has to Los Angeles and the various museums that are located over there. You can definitely make a day's trip, an excursion per se, of just going to visit the museums and back. And so I'm also going to talk a little bit about my experience. As I said, as a social studies kind of focus, and as I focused on the border as well, my experience here really allowed me to view the border from both sides of, so from the Mexican side and from the American side, something that I believe that if I were somewhere else, I wouldn't have gotten that experience and that perspective. And so, for example, I was able to participate through UCSD's Mexican Migration Research Field Project, where we conducted research on both sides of the border and where we analyzed the effects of migration on on high school and students in middle school. So that was a wonderful experience where I was able to create ties and connections on both sides of the border. And I was also able to make long life friends with that because since it was a very long project, I was able to really connect on both sides. And even though I'm a local here, I was able to understand so much more about my region on a deeper level. And also I took classes at the Autonomous University of Baja California, where I did sociology of cross-border migrations there. It was a course where I practically crossed every Thursday the border to be able to attend that class. It was a great experience. And so I feel that as someone who was really connected to the border, it gave me a deeper insight, and it wouldn't have been able to happen anywhere else. And also I feel that it's something that it's tremendous to have in higher ed because it exposes you to different cultures and it makes you more sensible to the to different life experiences that happen here around the border. So it's something very valuable that students can take away, where they have a bigger perspective of life experiences, and they can adapt whenever they go into a workforce of understanding others. So San Diego is a great place to study. I'm very grateful that I had that experience, and I really wish that your students decide to come here and also have that experience. So thank you everyone for being today here, and I am gonna pass the mic to Ning.
Hi everyone, my name is Ning. I'm an international student from Henan, Zhengzhou in China, and this is my 5th year in San Diego. I'm a graduate student in Accounting Information System at SDSU, and I chose San Diego as my study abroad destination because I'm interested in business, and I know West Coast is the best option. Also, the perfect weather in San Diego is the reason I stay here. I believe San Diego is a perfect place to study abroad because it is a combination of quiet and modern life, and so most time I can study and have fun in a peaceful time and environment. But if you enjoy modern life, there are a bunch of activities you can do in San Diego, like downtown. And at SDSU, there are a lot of opportunities like working opportunities, including internship, on-campus job, and full-time job. And currently, I'm working as graduate assistant in Management Information System Department and Accounting Department. And also, I work as student assistant in International Admission Office. So the career office at SDSU provide a lot of resource and support, and they help students to find a job step by step, no matter it's internship or full-time job. So I'm so grateful that SDSU provide a lot of different resource for all of its students from different departments and office. And all the faculties at SDSU are really welcoming to students among the world. Thank you. I'm going to pass to the next person.
Yeah, thank you, Ning. I want to welcome Robin Darman to speak next. And I also want to remind our audience that we are going to have a panel discussion to follow, and we would love to answer as many questions that you have as we can. So please start asking questions. We also have background chatters for questions that we may not get to during the panel discussion as well. But Robin?
Robin, can you please unmute?
Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. Can anyone read lips? I just ran off. So sorry about that. Please forgive me. I'm Robin Darman. I'm the Career Development Center Director at University of San Diego, and I'm going to talk to you about San Diego as a global gateway. So the next slide. International careers, international global fluency. Why does that matter? Why is that important? How do you get it? And then kind of in parentheses, why San Diego is poised perfectly to really have great opportunities for international experiences. So I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm going to step back for a moment. 75% of my job is actually speaking with employers and organizations every single day. And something I hear all the time when companies talk about those 8 qualities that they're looking for in a successful internship candidate or a full-time candidate, they're looking for those candidates who are flexible, who can collaborate, who are adaptable, and who can lean into respectfully other perspectives. And there's nothing like global experiences that actually give you those skills. So to the next slide, I'm going to talk about San Diego. Here's a few numbers. As my colleagues have mentioned, just the location of San Diego puts it in a unique spot. We're right against Mexico, and we are one of the busiest, if not the busiest port in the United States. If it was its own economy, it would rank the 26th largest economy in the United States. It is a vibrant international city that has a unique quality of life as well. Next slide, Steve, thank you. So a few other numbers. So one that I want you to look at in particular, 57% of the companies in the San Diego region have 1 to 4 workers. In other words, lots of startups, lots of innovation. This is what dominates San Diego. And the richness of that innovation, of that energy is just incredible. It's the #1 most patent intense region in the United States. 27 plus incubators and accelerators helping small businesses and startups get started. That's incredible. And we also have Fortune 1000 companies, so Sempra Energy, Qualcomm, etc. So the next slide. And the other piece that I think is unique to San Diego, I've lived in a lot of different places over the years. It's so rich in international presence. Obviously, Mexico is our neighbor, and there's a lot of cross-border business opportunities and volunteer opportunities, but all over, companies from all around the world, organizations from all around the world. I put just a few of the organizations that came to mind. In particular, I, for one, am on the board of directors for the French American Chamber of Commerce. There's tons of opportunities for students to intern with French companies here in San Diego, or US companies wanting to start companies in Europe. So it's incredible, just the rich collaboration here in San Diego. Next slide. So how do you get it? You don't have to leave San Diego. That's what's incredible. The internship opportunities, as I mentioned earlier, in internships with international companies who are here in Southern California, or internships remotely. Zoom obviously has given us incredible opportunities. I was on the phone last week with companies in Hong Kong who want to connect with our students and have them virtually visit their headquarters in Hong Kong, which is incredible. Micro internships are a really neat new way of allowing students to get experience and get opportunities with international companies. So again, remote. They're paid. And what does micro mean? It means it can be a one-day project or a one-week project, but it allows students to get incredible international experiences remotely and gets to kind of dabble, allows students to dabble in these different experiences. Obviously, study abroad opportunities. All of our universities have incredible study abroad opportunities, and student organizations. We all have lots of international student orgs where you get to learn about each other's cultures and again, just get that comfort level with people from all different backgrounds. That's rich. A, it's fun. And then B, it serves you well when you start to look for job opportunities. It gives you confidence. It gives you adaptability. And then of course, networking events. San Diego is the most networked region I've ever lived in. People love to network. People love to connect. And it's geographically, it's an easy city to go from one end to the other. So people kind of pre-COVID would get around. Now it's obviously more Zoom, but it's a very networked city. I often say that it still functions like a small town. It's a large city. I think it's America's 8th largest city, but it still functions like a small town, which is lovely. And then community service opportunities, lots of opportunities to give back and get engaged. So again, just to reiterate, San Diego is pitched beautifully for international opportunities. It will help you with your career, and it's fun. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our speakers. I hope you've had a chance to understand a little bit of the historical backdrop of San Diego's International Gateway, hear some student experiences about our cross-border relationship with Mexico. You heard a little bit about how careers can be impacted by being a gateway city, and also understanding that your education is a gateway to the world as well, between our 4 universities. Now we are switching the screen, I hope. If my panelists could turn their cameras on and turn their microphones on. I want to give our counselors a chance to see who's on this panel. You just heard from them. We can all see each other now. And I want to begin by asking you all, as people who have taught, learned, lived in San Diego, what is one unique experience or opportunity you received as a result of being in this city? And we can begin with Dr. Ben Cater.
Sure. Yeah, one unique opportunity that I can draw from is, so I'm an historian by training, but I also study contemporary world affairs. And so what's unique about San Diego is that I have the opportunity every single day to study world history and current events as they unfold on the Pacific Rim and really on the edge of 2 major countries. So I can study history, contemporary politics, I can study international markets and finance in this really vibrant place. And to get to a more granular level, almost any day I can travel to a foreign country, study it, and return to the United States in a single afternoon. It's one thing to study out of a book. It's another thing to study in a book and then have it augmented by actual lived experiences. So I can just travel in a very quick way to the border, get across with no problem. I can eat foreign food. I can talk to the people. I can study with them. I can share in many of their lived experiences. And that's more of an integrated, holistic educational experience of world affairs than I can really get almost any other place.
Hey, Jorge?
Sure. Thank you. My case is a little bit what Dr. Cater is saying. I'm Mexican. It's very personal. I've met a lot of great scientists here in San Diego, but the thing I love most about San Diego is that I'm Mexican. So every time I feel homesick, I have just to cross the border, and it's very, very easy for me. Just if I want a food, I want to eat something specific, or even get groceries. I like my chile or whatever. I can just go to Tijuana and bring it back here to San Diego, which is something I deeply cherish. I had the fortune to live in England, and I took myself some food, and I was homesick so much. And here I'm able to, and I was living in a really small town, so there wasn't any Latino thing there. And here I have the chance to go to Tijuana every time. With COVID right now, it's difficult, of course, but before, without COVID, it was very easy for me just to go to TJ and experience Mexico and not being far away from my home. And I think that doesn't just apply to Mexicans, but there are so many communities of different cultures. So from Vietnamese to Korean, to say some, that can go to this community to feel like they're home. And I think that's something unique that San Diego offers, not just to Latinos or Mexicans, but to people from all around the world. And that's something I really care. And I think that's why San Diego is an ideal place for students to come. Thank you.
From my perspective, something that I definitely cherish, something I talked in my presentation, was the availability to be able to attend schools on both sides of the border as a border studies emphasis. It was very crucial for me to be able to have that other perspective. And so I researched kind of like what programs SDSU, UCSD had, and I was able to, for about a year and a half, take not all of my courses, but some courses in Tijuana. And so that was great for me. And since I said I'm from both sides of the border, I relate to what Jorge was saying. Anytime I'm in the mood for some tacos, it's easy to travel to Mexico. And just so that people know how close we are from San Diego State or from UCSD, it's no more than 30 minutes with no traffic. But still, it's very, very easy. So for me, I was able to make that connection and kind of that networking on both sides of the border.
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from our student from San Diego State. Ning?
For me, the most significant thing in San Diego is the people. And when I first came here, and all the faculty and all the students around me, they are very welcoming, and I feel like I'm accepted very quickly, and I can adapt to the environment very fast. And also the culture here, like you said before, San Diego has multicultural and it's open environment. So like if I miss China and I can go to Convoy and there are a lot of Korean food, Chinese food, and Japanese food, and I can hang out with my friends. And they are from different areas like San Francisco and Los Angeles, and some from the Bay Area. And we can be, and we became friends very quickly. And I appreciate the open environment and the multi-culture and a lot of different restaurants from different culture and backgrounds. So all the factors here improved. The pace. I adopted the environment and found a lot of different friends.
Oh, I could echo every single thing that all of you said. I was born in a town of 300 in the Midwest, and I will never get over the absolute awe and excitement of living here in San Diego with such a rich, diverse, just people from all over. But you asked Michael about an experience. Last summer, my daughter, college student, interning with a nonprofit in Baja, Mexico. And every Sunday afternoon, my husband and I would jump in the car, drive across the border in about 20 minutes, take her out for lunch. I had to, of course, go to the little open air markets in the fishing village that I love to go down to and buy pretty earrings and pretty pottery for my house. And we'd have something to eat, and we'd go to the beach, and then I'd be back in San Diego in the evening. It still blows my mind, 16 years of living here in San Diego, that I have the luxury of doing that, or going across town and eating at a Chaldean restaurant, or going to the other side of town and going for a Vietnamese pho. I get such a bang out of that. I will never, ever get over the excitement and zeal of such a rich, diverse, friendly, welcoming region to live in.
Thank you all, and apologies for my audio here. I'm going to speak louder and lean in, but I hope you can hear these next ones from us. We'll start with Robin this time and go backwards order. Can you share, could you utilize our theme, Gateway to the World? How has San Diego, in your time here, in your life career to this point, how has it been a gateway to the world for you?
For me personally?
Yeah, in your career, yes.
Yeah, in my career, it's been incredible. I have been very blessed. I've been here at University of San Diego for the past 7 years. Last year, I was on a panel in Hong Kong with employers, talking to students, alumni, and employers about how to make connections with students from all over the world. I have helped organize a couple of events for our European alumni in our Madrid Center. For 2 years in a row. I mean, just the traveling outside of the US has just been an incredible experience. So just for me personally, to have those kind of connections, meet with employers all over the world is A, exciting for me personally, and then B, I mean, the benefit for our students is incredible. So yeah, that would be the first thing that comes to my mind.
And Ning, the same question for you. How has San Diego been a gateway to the world in your life thus far, in your short life as a college student? How has it?
I believe the the support from SDSU is really the opportunity that connect me and the business world. Such as when I first began my on-campus job, I was a little bit hesitated, but after I got my first on-campus job, and all my coworkers, they are very supportive, and they encourage me to find a new internship and other on-campus job on campus, and they will refer me to other professionals out of the SDSU. So the supportive from faculty, my coworker, and especially the career office, they provide a lot of different opportunities, such as full-time job and internships. And it's not only located in SDSU, but in San Diego, but also Los Angeles and San Francisco. And you know, San Diego is a perfect option. It's a perfect place because it's close to other big cities in the US, such as San Francisco and Los Angeles and Mexico. So you have a bunch of opportunities. If you don't want to stay in San Diego, you also can have other great opportunities in other city. But San Diego is also a very quiet place. So it is the best option to focus on study first, and then you can explore other different opportunities around San Diego.
And for me, I feel that the Transporter Student Ally Program is actually a derivative of a student organization that actually started at SDSU. So for me, it's that idea of taking a student organization and actually creating it into a program that has really advanced into a bigger project. And so I'm very glad that that opportunity kind of came up thanks to the support of SDSU to be able to teach our faculty members and even teachers in the border region about what the transporter experience is. So that has definitely helped me to connect, to network, and to be able to implement programs. So that's my my gateway.
And for me, it's actually the fact that I'm here in San Diego. When I graduated, I felt that I still needed to learn from the world, and looking for opportunities. I researched that San Diego was ideal because of all this diversity, so many international students, and it was easy for me. I'm close to the border, so San Diego literally opened the doors for me in terms of professional, my career and my professional aims to the world, because it allowed me to be outside my home country and experience what it is to work and in another country and collaborate with international people. So that's how San Diego was a gateway to the world to me.
And yeah, I echo what a lot of folks have already said, but I'd like to push it in a slightly different direction. I would say that, San Diego is of global consequence, personally speaking. I received a really terrific, very fine education in San Diego. I'm an alumni of Point Loma. And I studied with some world-class scholars. The education was largely through people as well as books and labs, et cetera, et cetera. The people that I studied with were not only smart, but they were cosmopolitan. They were literally from all over the world. And what I learned in meeting with them was really to develop a facility or an ease with difference. And even like an incredible appreciation, intellectual and just sort of a general appreciation for just different ways of seeing the world, different perspectives. And so later on in graduate school, when I went to study and work at Harvard, which is a very cosmopolitan place, and other places, New York City, I didn't just survive there, I thrived. And so in that regard, for my own career, San Diego was a total launching pad.
All right, thank you, folks. We are at time here, so I want to leave you all with the link that should be in your chat now for our next session, which is the Innovation Hub. That's something that we've only touched upon. We'll go in much more detail now, as San Diego is an innovation hub and we're excited to share that with you. I want to thank our panelists today, Robin, Sarah, Jorge, Dr. Ben Cater, and Ning, our wonderful student. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your knowledge and your experiences with these counselors so they can see that San Diego is a destination city, a city worth studying. Thank you very much, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you in our next session. Bye-bye.